today energy is the Queen of Swords. So we've moved out of the passion of fire into the mind, the intellect, air energy. And for some of you, this represents a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, sun, moon, or rising. But you will be taking on the traits of this queen, and so today is a day where your intellect, your analytical skills, your ability to solve problems and think things through plays a role. Now, you may be dealing with someone, or again, taking on the traits of someone who's a little bit aloof, detached. There's a lot of thought taking place in order to arrive at the right decision. It may mean trying to be fair about something, or some form of communication, or a focus on career, which would tie into the Emperor and the Sun and that Six of Wands, wanting to be recognized for your expertise, being an authority in your field and achieving some kind of success. Now, the Queen of Swords may actually play a professional role. She may be someone who is providing some kind of counsel. Perhaps she's an attorney or a judge or a doctor, a professor of some sort. Maybe she's a professional person, and your focus today is very much so on your career. You're very determined, and part of that is to perhaps gain your independence in some way. Now, in the extreme, this may be someone who is distant, aloof, cold, ruthless in their pursuits. Could be an uninvolved parent. But many times this negative outlook or behavior is based on some kind of hardship or loss. This is a queen who is very much so aware of the shadow part of people and difficult situations. Maybe she's a single parent, or perhaps she's had some kind of financial hardship or some health challenges, or she's had to go it alone. And if not careful, she's become bitter or resentful about that. But in the positive, maybe this is just you being very much so an individual. Maybe you feel the need to stand up for yourself, or you're someone who fights on the behalf of others. And if that's the case, today is a day where you're very effective, efficient, inspirational, and perhaps you play the role of managing others. And so whatever you're doing today is meant with the intention of showcasing those abilities, those special skills, the knowledge that you have. And today is a day where, just like that emperor wanting to know the truth and get down to brass tacks, today is a day where you want to clarify what your interest is in a situation and what your obligations are. Perhaps this ties to a medical issue or a legal issue or something business-wise, maybe even a relationship. And speaking of health, you did have that Sun card, and you did have the Emperor, where emotions have a play on health. And if that's the focus, that should be your number one focus. Taking better care of yourself is first priority. Otherwise, you're organizing, you're planning, you've got a goal in mind, and you don't want to be interrupted. You don't want to be taken off schedule. And you know who you want to connect with. You're a very good judge of character today. Maybe you're negotiating something. This is a queen who has command of the language, whether it's written or spoken. And it can be very positive and encouraging, or she can cut you off at the knees. Caustic remarks and, annihilating her opponent through her intelligence. So for some of you, this is a situation where you're dealing with a real witch. Maybe there's some misinformation or some pettiness, or somebody's resentful. There's a lack of perspective. This can be someone who, again, is vindictive or bitter or cold. This is the warrior queen, and she's either helpful or hurtful. And today is a day where you have the ability to use your intellect and your intuition to avert some kind of oncoming problem, disaster, situation, although it's probably going to be at the very last minute. So again, you have the energy to make war or to promote peace. Now, negatively, maybe you're setting up some situations that are way beyond you. They're more than you can handle, and you're not prepared to deal with them. So for some of you, this is a day where you're dealing with the consequences of some rash behavior. Maybe, you also realize that within your circle, things are not quite what they appear. Maybe some of the people you're dealing with, maybe they're helpful in some ways, but they're also doing some things that are working against you. So they're playing a dual role, and maybe you're confused as to which, what advantage they serve. Maybe you're very determined to connect to someone, and that's also causing you to misrepresent yourself. So for some of you, you're having to look at the reasons that you're partnering with others. Is it because you share some mutual interests, aims, goals, objectives, commonalities, or is it because you both have been through the ringer and somehow you feel like that's the basis for a good relationship? So you may be connecting to people who also have a history of past disappointment, and that's really the connection rather than a real interest. Some of you, it's not even about the other person. It's about proving to yourself that you can make something happen. So it becomes more of a conquest. And right now, Venus is in Aries, and that's very much so that kind of energy, focused on just getting the affection or what you want, or feeling the adrenaline of being with somebody, for whatever ulterior motive, rather than focusing on real relationship. Today, for some of you, that means you're going to push people or a situation too far. And again, that's a continuous theme, allowing something to unfold organically versus trying to push your agenda, becoming frustrated and offending other people in the process. So some of you, maybe there's some tyrannical behavior taking place. This is a lady who does not like to be challenged, although she herself is willing to put in effort and make great sacrifice. So you have to be careful today of some kind of consequence that comes as a result of mishandling matters. It's a day where you need to be mindful of gossip, or being narrow-minded, or complaining or whining, or taking on some kind of devious behavior based in feelings of wanting to get revenge.